Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers and Digital Empire Builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show, and today we're continuing our series on mental health awareness, as it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're talking 11 powerful ways to fight fear and anxiety. It's something that millions of Americans struggle with. Everyone is looking for answers, and no one wants to live in fear. No one wants to be under a constant state of being anxious about anything. So I'm going to give you my best tips as someone who has dealt with mental health challenges. We're going to go all the way in today. So do me a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Thornton Online Marketing Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a local business and you're trying to figure out how to dominate your local market, then I want to help you do that. And the way that we do that is with a free marketing strategy session. All you have to do is text keyword local biz to 314-730-3999. Again, if you text the keyword phrase local biz to 314-730-3999. Let us help you with some marketing tips and strategies. This is a 20-minute call. It's free. A lot of people think that there's some sort of sales pitch that's coming on that call. Nope, I'm just trying to connect with entrepreneurs and give you some insight on some things that you can do to grow your business. So check that out and let us see if we can help you. Today, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're continuing adding at least one show a week on mental health. And we're talking 11 powerful ways to fight fear and anxiety. It's something that people deal with all the time. And I want to give you some thoughts. And by no means am I an expert on how to do this, but I do have some tips that I want to share. I have had some experience with mental health issues in my past, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So we're going to talk about all of that today, but y'all know how we do. Got a couple quick announcements before we get into that. Listen, I'm still looking for entrepreneurs who are willing to share their thoughts on entrepreneurship and how their businesses are doing. And I'm calling it Inside the Hustle. So if you know any entrepreneurs that want to connect with my audience and do a short 5 to 7 minute interview about their business, make sure you guys tag them. Let them know that I'm looking for entrepreneurs who want to talk all about their businesses
Also, if you're in the St. Louis market, then you got to go check out SEL Hot Deals. We're aggregating some of the best hidden gem type companies in the St. Louis metro area, and they're offering up to 70% off, 70% discounts on their products and services as an attempt to earn your business. So check out selhotdeals.com, sign up. If you're in the St. Louis market, follow the instructions on the actual website, and you can enter to win a free vacation. And then also look for the marketing and the registration for the Half Hour of Power, which is our monthly webinar series. This month, we're going to focus on how you get free exposure from Google My Business, right? It's going to be super, super dope. And last but not least, did you guys know that you can give me stars? And that's a way that Facebook is allowing me to monetize my content. Yes, you guys can give me stars. So I'm going to go grab the link so you guys can put some stars in the comments for your boy as well. And that's going to help me continue to grow this page, this channel, continue to show up and give you guys free content every single day. It's called stars, man. So I want you guys to help your boy out and give me a few stars if you are enjoying the content here. And if you have not already, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, smash that share button. Somebody on your timeline is dealing with fear and anxiety and could use these 11 powerful tips. So let's get the show started, man. We start every show on the Cortez Hustle show with a quote of the day. And today's quote is from Billy Alsbrook, Mr. Blessed and Unstoppable. And I guess I should say Dr. Billy Alsbrook, Mr. Blessed and Unstoppable. He says, successful people focus on but two things. Successful people focus on but two things. Anybody know what successful people really focus on? They focus on seizing opportunities and creating opportunities. Those are the two things that successful people are always focus their attention on, right? And I think if you shift your focus to seizing opportunities and creating opportunities, it will be a game changer for you in your life. But here's the key. In order to seize opportunity, in order to create opportunities for yourself, you have to first identify what it is that you really want. When you identify what it is that you really want, you'll notice that opportunities show up everywhere and they are ripe for the season. If you are clear on what it is that you really, really want, then it becomes easy for you to create the opportunities to help you get what it is that you want. It's very critical. It's very important, guys. Get clear on what it is that you want. And don't be afraid to dream big either, y'all. Like a multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate where I get a chance to come into people's homes every single day and influence their lives and push them subtly down the road of positivity, down the road of legacy building, wealth building, down the road of entrepreneurship and building amazing things, down the road of turning their gift, talent, special abilities into income, into products and services that serve the world, down the road of loving themselves so that they can better love others. Don't be afraid to dream too big and focus not on your haters. Focus not on what things are going wrong in your life. Focus on seizing opportunities. And where there is no opportunity, focus on creating opportunities for yourself to get what it really is that you want in this life. But none of that happens unless you get crystal clear on what it is that you really want. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by, of course, the Social Media Consistency Challenge. Text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. If you're struggling with your consistency on social media. And you know you should be posting on a regular and consistent cadence, but you just can't figure out how to put a system in place to get you there. Text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. You'll get on the list, and every day I'm going to email you for 21 days straight an infographic to post, the caption and hashtags to go with that infographic. I even give you a short video on how to edit the graphic, to put your logos on it, to make it your own, and how to turn one piece of content into multiple pieces of content so that you really can start thinking like a content creator. Because in today's marketplace, those who are constantly showing up as an expert, those who are constantly putting out content and showing their worth and leading with value are the ones that people want to do business with. So don't miss that train because you just don't know how to put a system in place. Text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. Get on the list and let me help you with your consistency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I don't know how many of you guys have ever been diagnosed or treated for anything mental health related. But if you have and you're an overcomer, then I want to say kudos to you, right? And if you have not been diagnosed, but you know that you're dealing with something, I want us to remove the shame, remove the stigma, remove the fear, and stop ostracizing people for not being as mentally tough as you. Stop judging people because they are having some challenges where you yourself personally may be able to deal with and cope with and get through or get around certain obstacles and hurdles with ease. Don't be so insensitive, man. A lot of people are dealing with some emotional things that you will never know about. And it wears on you, right? How many of you guys are fight fans? Any fight fans watching the stream, right? I got a chance to watch the Charlo fight over the weekend, and I usually don't. I'm not the diehard sports fan that stops my life for every big sporting event. I just so happened to not be doing anything on Saturday. I turned on Showtime, and the fight was on, right? So I got a chance to check it out. And in watching that fight, I watched, I forget the Argentina fighter's name, but he was one of those fighters that presses forward. Like he knows he's going to get hit coming in, he knows he's going to hit going out, but he's willing to keep putting pressure on you and hope to wear you down and get opportunities to land some good punches and basically overwhelm you with pressure. Right. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because some people are approaching life that way, where they're constantly just applying pressure, no real defense, right? No bobbing, no weaving, not trying to block any shots. I'm just aggressively pushing. Well, what happens is as you are making those aggressive moves coming forward at life, right? Life is like Charlo, and Charlo would, as the Argentina was coming in, would hit with the jab, right? And every now and then Charlo would hit him with a hook or uppercut or something that was really hard, but most of the time he was just kept tapping as this guy was pushing and pressing and pushing and pressing. And the guy was landing too, so it was a real fight, right? You don't often see real fights in boxing anymore. You kind of see one guy dancing and running and holding and the other guy trying, but they actually fought. But as the guy pressed forward and pressed forward and pressed forward, like sometimes we do in life, there was an accumulation of punishment that he had taken for 10 rounds. Now, he was dishing some punishment too, but not as much as he was taking. And ultimately, he caught I believe it was a left hook. And it literally took him a second before he reacted and his knees buckled and he fell. Some people are approaching life that way, and they're pushing and they're running and they're going so hard. And life is steady jabbing them, steady hitting them, and they're brushing it off and brushing it off. And if you're not careful, you can get hit by something that life throws your way, just like that left hook that Jamal Charlo landed. And there was literally a second of a delayed reaction, and the guy's knees just buckled. And sometimes we can be very insensitive when it comes to people dealing with mental health concerns and issues. And I want to encourage us to not be so sensitive or insensitive to people who may be going through, because you don't know what they're going through on the other side, the side that you don't see, behind their closed doors. And sometimes the things that you say could cause a lot more harm than you intend, and sometimes a lot more harm than you will ever know, right? My older sister one time, and I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, and she probably doesn't even remember, right? My older sister one time was going through something, and I had no idea. But being a little brother, the way that little brothers are, we're always being pests, and and I was doing something that was bothering her. And at some point, she was having some challenge. I don't know if she was having a challenge with a boyfriend. I don't know if she was having a challenge with my mom, with one of my other brothers and sisters, but she was having a challenge. And she said to me, I wish, and these aren't exact words, but something to the effect that I wish you were not in my life. And that stung then, and it still stings now to even think about it. But I don't think she, at the time, because she was young, she was a teenager, uh, she didn't at the time understand the power of words, right? And how they could cut deep, and how 40 something years later, 30 something years later, I still feel the sting of those words, right? Like, man, you my sister, why would you not want me in your life? What did I do that was so bad or so evil, that bothered you in such a way that would make you feel that way? But at the same time, I can't deny her feelings. Whatever she was feeling, whatever she was going through, as they say, hurt people, whatever was hurting her at the time caused her to lash out and say something. Um, and I can't even say that she didn't mean. She might have meant it 100% at the time. Now, my sister and I have a great relationship today, but as kids, like, she was going through something that made her wish that she was an only child, and she said it, and it hurt. We are doing that every day, y'all, to people as they are going through life, doing the best they can, and we don't understand how that's causing pain and adding to. And you never know. And I try to be careful, because you never know when your words could be the straw that breaks the camel's back and send someone into a downward spiral that they may, in fact, never recover from, right? You never know. So you got to be careful, even especially in this social media age, right? Think about when Naomi Osaka started to talk about how she was being challenged mentally to have to deal with reporters after tough losses and things of that nature. And think about how everyone not only had an opinion, but was able to share that opinion. But not only did they have an opinion and were they able to share that opinion, they were able to share that opinion with Naomi Osaka, right? They were able to go right to her Twitter page and say what was on their mind. They were able to go right to her Instagram page and say, like, People don't understand. Right now, am I saying that you shouldn't have an opinion? It's not what I'm saying. Everybody's got an opinion. You feel your way, and just like I can't tell you how to feel about a certain situation. But we forget that people in the limelight are human beings too, right? And a lot of us who are saying these things have never been anywhere close to being in the shoes of the person that we are judging and saying negative things about, right? So be careful with that. Let's get into 1 minute motivation, and then I've got those 11 powerful ways for you to deal with fear and anxiety. And I hope this helps someone today. Do me a favor, if you have not already, hit the share button, man. Share this. Somebody is dealing with fear and anxiety, and they might need this word for today. So we're going to jump into 1 minute motivation. If you're new to the Cortez Hustle Show, every day we do 1 minute motivations where we play a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. And if you're in a position to type, I'm going to ask you to comment your takeaways. I'm going to give a couple takeaways, and then we'll get into the 11 powerful ways to fight fear and anxiety. So let's get into 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute or an hour or a day or even a year. But eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever.
Every single person who has ever done anything worthwhile or exceptional or difficult or extraordinary, anyone, whether it's great artists or authors or mathematicians or whatever it is, everyone encounters difficulties. There is no easy road. It does not exist. It is impossible. Everyone has issues. If you have time to pursue a hobby, if you have time to do anything in your life, you can better yourself. And here's one way you never better yourself. When you come up with excuses for why other people are successful and you're not. Everybody has a hard road. I wanted to jump out a window several times during my young life. I wanted to jump in front of a train, just end it because it's too much pressure. We all go through hard times. We all go through depression. We all go through doubt and moments in your life. That is what makes you a person. And those difficult moments are what build your character.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, those difficult moments are what build your character. Pain is temporary. Quitting, though, is forever, y'all. Some of you guys have dreams. Some of you guys got goals. Some of you guys have aspirations to do some amazing things. And I want to encourage you to accept the fact that right now, accept it right now, even if you're just getting started, accept the fact that it's not going to be easy, but make the declaration that you're going to do it anyway. Accept the fact that it's never going to be easy, but that you're going to pursue it anyway. You're going to give it your best shot anyway. But here's what I want to hang my hat on real quick. If you guys have comments, go ahead and share your comments. Let's see. My man, Mark, good morning, brothers. Always on the ups and downs of the journey that shape character and build you. Man, that is so rich, brother. That is so rich. But here's the thing that Joe Rogan, I believe that was Joe Rogan's voice at the end, it says, the one thing that will kill you of anything else is when you make excuses for other people's success. Man, I want y'all to get this. When you make excuses for other people's success, what you're doing is you're embedding in your subconscious mind that there is no way for you to win. Right? I talk about this from the financial standpoint, right? We see people who are wealthy doing well, and we say, oh, well, that person's dad seeded them with $100,000. Or we say they were born rich, or we say they got lucky. So what happens is you are literally telling your subconscious mind that the only way to become wealthy is by having a wealthy parent or a wealthy grandparent or someone who's going to leave you money. And if you don't have that in your life, then you've shut down every opportunity for you to get wealthy, because you don't believe it's possible outside of having a wealthy parent or grandparent, or being born into money, or having someone bless you with $100,000 loan in the family. The same is true of any success in life. Oh, NBA players were born with those bodies. No, they weren't. They built those bodies. Right? That person is lucky. That person knows someone at the company that got them in the door, right? That person, we make all these excuses for people who are successful. And what we're doing is we're killing our own ambition subconsciously to say, oh, I don't know anybody at a company that can get me in the door, so I'm stuck where I am. But when you flip it and say, that person worked hard to get where they got, that person used their creative genius to build a product or service that created their wealth, that person networked, when you start looking at the things that successful people do that any and everybody can do, it cracks the door, it opens the door, it gives you hope, it feeds and fuels your own ambitions. When I see someone uber successful, and I watch success stories all the time, and I listen to success stories all the time. Why? Because I want to know what were some of the things that they were doing before they got in the game. What were some of the things that they were doing in the beginning? When I see that people literally put themselves in positions, right, to be in connection with successful people, with people who could open doors for them, it's a game changer for me. Now I'm saying, well, hell, if 80% of all wealthy people are first generation wealthy, then that means I got a shot. That's why I love the rags to riches story. The people who come from nothing and they make it, because that's where I'm coming from. If they can do it, I got a shot. But if you are making excuses for successful people and rationalizing why they got successful, basically you're telling yourself that you can't do what they do because you don't have their connections. You can't have their level of success because you weren't born into their community, into their skin, into their situation. You can't have the same level of success because you don't have whatever you're excusing that they have. I go and find the common things about successful people, and I lean into those things. Like, oh, that person came from a single parent home and they were able to make it too. Oh, yeah, I got this. Right? Never make excuses for people who are winning if the goal is for you to ever win at anything, because you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. So that is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Thornton Online Marketing, everybody's premier local business marketing agency. If you are a local business owner and you need some tips and some strategies to better market your business, then I need you to text local biz to 314-730-3999. You'll get access to my calendar, and you'll be able to schedule a 20-minute marketing strategy session for free. I'll look at your systems that you have in place, talk to you about some things that you can do better or differently to optimize those systems. There's no sales pitch, guys. I just want to help you where I can. And I also love making connections with other entrepreneurs. I think a lot of that comes from slavery and the fact that a lot of wealth was gained through free labor for a lot of people here, and it has a deleterious effect on some. I guess you can say that they got old money, but the opportunities around now are strained. Now as staying, I missed that. Sorry, Kermit. But Kermit, I want you to think about this. Forbes did a article on wealth in America, and then in the book, The Millionaire Next Door, they also did studies. We know from the country being built, right? And we know the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and the DuPonts and some of these folks really benefited from these early pioneers. But there are less than 9% of Americans in this country that are true trust fund babies. A little over 11% or so are people who built their wealth with help, meaning they didn't necessarily come from the gutter. Their parents had a life insurance policy maybe, and they got started. They weren't rich, but they weren't broke either, right? But 80%, 76, 77% of all of today's millionaires are first generation wealthy, meaning they built that wealth in this lifetime. They didn't come for money. They didn't get a huge handout. They started some sort of business or enterprise. They worked really hard on their job. They took their job earnings and they invested that money, and it grew and it grew and it grew. 80% of all of today's millionaires did it in a single generation, right? In a single person's lifetime within their family. So that mindset that wealthy people come from old money is what keeps poor and middle class people poor and middle class, because you literally start thinking that you don't have a shot if your mom doesn't have an inheritance in line for you. So we're going to get into this 11 powerful ways to fight fear and anxiety. One of the curses of being able to think and reason is the ability to feel fear and anxiety, right? You guys know that I'm big on the way God created this universe in dualities, right? For everything that is a blessing, there is also a curse attached to it. For everything that is a curse, there is also a blessing attached to it. And being able to think and reason, right? It's one of the reasons that we can feel fear and anxiety, even when neither are warranted. Fear and anxiety can serve as helpful cues that there may be a situation that deserves caution, but after this is accomplished, they actually cause more harm than good, right? If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, I want to help you with some tips. And if you're in our private Facebook group, I'll put this document inside the group as well so you guys can get access to it. You create your own fear and anxiety. You can also create your own peace and serenity. So choose to minimize the effects of fear and anxiety in your life. Number one, we're talking about how do you fight fear and anxiety, right? Number one, breathing is the fastest way to derail fear and anxiety, right? When faced with fearful thoughts or situations, we begin breathing quickly and shallowly. This begins a cascade of psychological events that results in feelings of fear and anxiety. It's possible to circumvent this process by breathing deeply and slowly, right? And we see this in movies all the time. When something is going on, somebody gets scared, they say, hey, just breathe, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. But that is actually scientifically proven to be one of the best ways to deal with fear and anxiety. Try breathing quickly and shallowly for 60 seconds and see how you feel. Now try breathing slowly and deeply and notice the difference. So really getting control of your breathing in those anxious moments and forcing yourself to relax is a good way. Number two, now, let me say this. I know without a shadow of a doubt, all of these things are easier said than done, right? So I'm not saying that this is easy, but some of these things may not have come to your consciousness or your awareness as ways to deal with fear and anxiety, right? So let me just put that out there. I know that I'm not saying that these things are easy. I'm just saying that, hey, if you find yourself feeling fearful, feeling anxious, then first try to get control of your breathing and see if that helps. Number two, act normally. Continue behaving as you would if there were nothing to fear. You can communicate to the fearful part of yourself that everything is okay. If you can act as if everything is fine, your brain will begin to believe it, right? This is huge, huge. Sometimes all that's required for us to do is to not acknowledge the fear in some physical way, right? And just literally try to stay calm, cool, and collected. Number three, spend time with supportive friends and family. A night on the town can work wonders to relieve stress and anxiety. A long, meaningful talk over a cup of coffee can be very beneficial. Now, here's where being that supportive friend, learning how to be that supportive friend could really use some coaching and some help. Sometimes when you're going through things mentally and emotionally, right? Some of our friends have created habits of making fun or making light of situations. Some of our friends have a habit of being insensitive and downplaying other people's feelings. And if you're that friend, if no one ever comes to you when they have challenges, it's because they don't believe that you are that type of friend, right? So as a friend, make sure that you are sensitive to the needs and know when to make fun and make light and know when not to. Hopefully hopefully everyone has that friend or that environment that they can go and get into and release. And I'll tell you what really helped me is I would unload on strangers, right? The first time that I ever told anybody out of my mouth that I had been sexually molested as a kid by one of my uncles, I told it to a stranger. Right, I was at a, believe it or not, at a network marketing event, and at that network marketing event, I'll never forget. Some of you guys may be familiar with the company ACN. They do telecommunication services, and one of the biggest teams in that organization was a team led by a black guy by the name of Delzino Wilson DeBriano. I'll never forget his name. Right. And he took us through this process called shedding. And he said, sometimes some of the things that are holding us back from being successful in business and in life in general are things that are anchored in our past, things that have happened to us that we need to let go of. So he directed us to walk across the room, get away from your circle and just go find a stranger, a random person that you never know, that you don't know. And you guys are going to embrace, and then you're just going to lean in, you're going to whisper something in their ear, and they're going to whisper something in your ear, and you take that to the grave with you, right? And what I whispered in that guy's ear was what happened to me. That was the first time I had said it out loud, and I was able to release it. And then immediately after that, I came home and told, I believe she was my fiance at the time, my now wife, and I shared it with her. And like that kind of was the beginning and the end of some serious challenges because letting that air out of the balloon, I slowly started to decompress. But all of those emotions started to bubble to the surface. So over a 2-year period or so, I really started to this downward spiral of emotional baggage coming to the surface, and led me ultimately to be hospitalized for a few weeks. And I really had to get myself together because of the abuse and the neglect and all the things that happened to me in my childhood. But having friends and family to confide in that will take you seriously, even if they don't believe, because here's the thing, you don't have to believe in the thing that is causing fear and anxiety for someone else, right? If I told you that I know when I turn these lights out, there's something there, and that's why I'm scared to sleep with the lights off. You don't have to believe that to be a confidant for me, right? And sometimes we, instead of listening and being an ear, we're always trying to fix. Sometimes when people are sharing their struggles with you, they're not looking for a solution. They just need to get it off their chest. They just need someone to listen without judgment, right? So keep that in mind. Number 4, have positive expectations. Fear and anxiety are the result of expecting the worst. When you expect the best, you can't feel afraid. You'll feel excited instead. This is like my wife and I were just talking about this the other day, and she kind of doesn't understand where I've come to in my life. Nothing really, really rattles me. And those things that rattle me don't rattle me for long, because I'm an eternal optimist. I just believe that the best is going to come out of every situation, no matter how good, bad, or ugly. I just what I believe. So because I believe that all things work together for the good of me, because I love the Lord and I'm called to his purpose, I believe that even negative situations don't cause me to be down for a long time. So while it may be something that comes natural to me now, it's something that you literally have to practice. Because we live in a world where everything that is negative is what gets all of the attention. And so we start living our lives like the local news, right? You guys know the local news spends 95% of its time talking about the 5% of negativity going on in your community. And what that makes you believe is that your community is 95% bad. It's not, man. And because we have been inundated with that pretty much all of our lives, especially those of us who were raised by grandparents, right? You know, our grandparents love the news. The news broadcast takes 5%, right? The things that are going on in your community. I want you to think about this. If your community was really, really, really that bad, as the news says it is, right? If they spend 95% of their time talking about the negativity in your community, but you walk outside in your community and like, man, according to the news, I probably should get shot right now. According to the news, I probably should get robbed right now. According to the news, there's something crazy should be happening right now. But they spend 95% of their time highlighting the 5% of the negative situations that's going on in your community, and you think that your community is 95% bad. You think 95% of the people that you encounter are negative. And that's not true, y'all. But we take that and we internalize it so that now we start looking at our lives and we spend 95% of our time highlighting the negative in our lives. So we think that 95% of the time that we have any experience is going to turn out bad because of the way we've been propagandized. But if you look at your life and you take a step back, you'll see that 95% of the things that you got going on in your life actually go your way. They actually turn out in your favor. But you don't focus on those. You focus on a few things that go wrong. And you put them on a loop in your head and you play them back over and over and over and over again. You got to come out of that. You got to look at life for what it is. Now, life is a beautiful thing. Yeah, there are going to be bad moments in your life, but they're just that, moments. I never let a bad moment become a bad day become a bad week become a bad month become a bad quarter. That's called depression. So if you can try to find the best in everything, right? Try to have positive expectations with what you're dealing with and what's going on. That's going to help you alleviate some of the fear and anxiety. And I know it's easier said than done, especially when you are the one person in your sphere of influence who has that gift, the burden of that gift, right? I walk into a room and everybody's doom and gloom, and all I got is solutions. All I got is positivity. And a lot of times, people don't want to hear that. They want you to join their pity party. That's why I'm a loner. That's why I don't deal with a lot of people, because I don't have time to sit with you and your negativity. Hey man, you can tell me what's going on in your life, and if it's not the way you want it to, cool, I get it, I understand. Now it's time to start talking about solutions. We just can't keep talking about the problem. Now we got to start talking about answers. What we're going to do about it, right? So having a positive expectation is good. Number 5, start small. For instance, if you're afraid of spiders, you don't have to go and pick up a spider. You don't have to go and touch a spider. Start by looking at photos of small, harmless spiders until you feel calm and relaxed when just looking at a picture. Right? Maybe you do some study and some research on spiders and see what spiders are all about, how they live, right? A lot of times the things that we are afraid of are the things that we just simply don't understand. Number 6, let it go. Again, easier said than done. I don't want to trivialize or marginalize anybody who is going through this stuff. I'm just saying these are some recommended ways to deal with fear and anxiety. These are just some tips that could help. Maybe you take 1 or 2 of them and they help. Maybe you take none of them, right? Just saying. Let it go. It's common for fear and anxiety in one part of your life to bleed over into other parts of your life. A rough morning meeting with the boss could ruin the rest of your day if you let it. Once the event is over, decide to let it go. That is a decision. I'm not saying it's an easy decision, right? But I'm saying it is a decision. Hey, this happened. I'm going to apologize about it. Maybe they're going to apologize about it. Things didn't go my way. I messed up. I could have been better prepared. Man, I got to move on, right? I got to move on. And one of the things that helps me is I've started to learn how to have conversations with people or to say things that, you know what, I don't agree with that. You know what? Nah, that's not what I don't agree. Right? Where I used to be the type of person that would You just roll with the punches all the time, right? So in my maturity, I'm starting to now just nip things in the bud. Nope, I don't agree. And we can agree to disagree, but I'm not going to go down this road with you as if I agree. And now that causes some anxiety within me, right? So don't hold on to or harbor things that happen. Be quick to forgive, man. Slow to anger, quick to forgive. Number 7, sweat, right? This is why working out is so important for your health, not just physically, right? The chemicals that your body releases during times of fear and anxiety can last quite a while. One easy way to get rid of them is to exercise. Work up a sweat and watch your fear and anxiety melt away. This is also a much healthier way to deal with unpleasant feelings than drugs, alcohol, or overeating. Right? Feeling anxious? Go for a walk, go for a run. Right? Makes me think about one of my favorite sitcoms that's coming to an end this year is This Is Us, right? And one of the characters, Randall, he deals with anxiety. And one of the things that he does when he gets that feeling, he goes for a run, right? Clears his head a little bit. So figure out some ways that says, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and let this fear and anxiety eat me up. I'm going to recognize that it's real. But like Les Brown says, fear is a fact, but it's not a force unless you let it be a force. It's a fact. Yes, I feel it. I'm not running from this feeling. I acknowledge it. It's here. It's a fact, but it's not a force that's going to stop me from pursuing. It's not a force that's going to make me change my mind about a thing. It's not a force that's going to ruin my whole day behind this feeling. But I do acknowledge that it exists, right? Number 8, reward yourself. After dealing successfully with a challenging situation, celebrate. Celebrate. This will help teach your brain that these stressful situations have a positive outcome. Buy yourself something small or do something enjoyable. Anything that puts you in a good mood is a good choice. We don't pat ourselves on the back enough. We don't high-five ourselves enough. We don't celebrate the small wins in our lives enough, right? If you're going through something and, sometimes I understand that people who are dealing with depression have a hard time getting out of bed, right? But if you get out of bed and get out, celebrate that. It's like, man, I won a little bit today. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself some kudos. Number 9, take action. If you're worried, do something to resolve the source of your worry. By taking action, you're taking responsibility. You also become more focused on your plan, which takes your mind away from your worries. The more you do to resolve the situation, the less fear and anxiety you'll feel. Preparation, man. Like sometimes we are anxious about things that we are about to do. And one of the things that I find is that the better prepared I am, the less anxious I feel, right? So I've got a speaking engagement next Monday. And if you guys can tune in, you certainly should. It's called Speakathon. And I'll be talking for the first time doing my 314 talk, right? And I'm excited about it. And I know that as I get closer to the time, I'm going to get anxious about it. But what helps with removing the anxious feeling is being better prepared. So the more I prepare, the less anxious I feel. And then what I also have come to realize, guys, is that I'm just going to go after I prepare as well as I feel I need to. I'm going to go in, I'm going to give it my best shot. and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. Sometimes your best is not enough to win, but it should always be enough for you to celebrate. It might not be enough to win, but it should always be enough to celebrate. Hey, man, I gave it all I have. It wasn't enough for me to claim the victory, but I can be proud in the fact that I gave it everything. Number 10, distract yourself. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about the situation. In those cases, distractions can provide relief. Ensure that your distractions are positive, such as reading something beneficial or getting some exercise. At the very least, avoid distractions that are unhealthy or lead to additional challenges. Yeah, sometimes we can distract ourselves with things that will eat up time. In my case, if I want to be prepared and I'm feeling anxious, I get distracted and now I lose that preparation time, and now that's going to compound. All right, so one of the things that I would do is distract myself with getting prepared for this talk. And number 11, use positive affirmations, man. Keep your mind focused on positive thoughts by saying positive things to yourself. How you talk to yourself affects your mood and experience. I'll end with what I learned from Lisa Nichols. She says every day when she was going through depression, she told herself, I forgive me. She reminded herself what she's committed to, and she leveraged the power of I am. These are 3 affirmations that I do regularly. Cortez, I am a great father. I am a great husband. I am a great entrepreneur. I am ambitious. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am strong. I am the greatest servant leader that the Midwest has ever produced. I am here for the long haul. I am committed to my mission. I'm committed to excellence in everything I do. I'm committed to my personal growth and self-development. I'm committed to becoming a better husband, becoming a better father, to becoming healthier with my diet, nutrition, and my exercise regimen. I'm committed to becoming more disciplined, more focused. I'm committed to growing in my mental health, my spiritual health, my emotional health, my social health, my financial health. I'm committed to. And I forgive you. Cortez, I forgive you for falling short yesterday. Cortez, I forgive you for letting fear and doubt creep in to your life yesterday. Cortez, I forgive you for not being present yesterday. Cortez, I forgive you for not being brave yesterday. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you for whatever it is. But today is a new day. Today is a day that I move forward. And then I tell myself as often as I can remember, Cortez, I am madly, helplessly, and hopelessly in love with you. This helps, y'all. It helps build you as the person. And then sometimes I go as far as putting that stuff on a voice recorder. So not only do I say it to myself, I literally put it on a loop where I hear it and I play it back for myself over and over and over. So hopefully, guys, this helps. Share this with someone who may be struggling with fear and anxiety, and I hope this helps them as well. Till I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.